my main message to the world is the family system is broken. And this all starts with the family. We have to have moms and dads who raise children to be good, kind, caring, compassionate, less judgmental, and less harsh on people. Because if we do that, number one, we'll be more secure ourselves so that the impact of what other people say won't matter so much. But number two, other people, if you raise your children this way, they won't be mean to other people. The bullying will stop. It will stop. But it takes the family unit to say enough is enough. It's like we will do with our boys. It's not okay to walk into school and treat anybody like they feel less than. And they don't do that. And when every family does that, we don't have an issue with bullying ever again. We've got to stomp this out, and that's the only way it's going to happen. So remember that about the family. Time for some more Ren. Dominoes is the name of the song. Megs, as always, thank you so much for requesting and continuing to educate me on the subject of Ren, because I need all of the help I can get. Mental health awareness is our thing. Mental health professional here, Tom Stevens. Without further ado, let's do it. Ren and Dominoes.
Oh, you built this like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling. Oh, you built this like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling. You build us up just to knock us back down. Funny how you act surprised when we hit the ground. We're like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes.
So I just wonder immediately who he's talking about here. Because you know dominoes. If you ever did that when you were little, I did. Because that's how we played when I was little way back in the day, right? Get you some cards, get you some dominoes, line them up one by one, all kinds of shapes, knock one over, and the entire thing just starts falling one after the other. So somebody is building them up to tear them back down. In other words, we're putting you all together and only to knock you down in the end.
So bleed me of all my self-belief. My smile shows all my insecurity. In a kingdom of photoshopped kings and queens will never feel happy with ourselves, but insecurity sells. Dominoes, dominoes, dominoes.
To me, this is so much of like social media. I get ripped apart on my reactions to Ren because somehow I magically don't understand them. I'll claim my age, I'll claim my ignorance, or maybe my stupidity. It could be any of the above, but I will not be taken down and like dominoes from everybody at Ren trying to comment on me because I'm learning. I'm doing the best I can. But this is our world, honestly, in social media, is that we put ourselves out there, and inevitably it is such a cutthroat world that people will comment and will dislike and will put down and will judge over and over, which is why I always caution people, be careful what you put out in the world, because it will be looked at, scrutinized, and possibly torn apart by a bunch of other people. But that's what happens, you know? You get the opportunity to put yourself out there, and then if you're not careful, you could be knocked down in a heartbeat. And also with an artist, with an artist like him, you make this music, you create what you think is art and beautiful and wonderful for the world, and then it can just be criticized.
Oh, you built this like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling. You build us up just to knock us back down. Funny how you act surprised when we hit the ground. We're like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling. I hide my head under the sheets, 'cause how can I face a world that ridicules the weak? Where beauty is sold on the shelves, forbid that we find it in ourselves. And now I'm broke, it don't come cheap. Oh, you built this like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling. Oh, you built this like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling. You build us up just to knock us back down. Funny how you act surprised when we hit the ground. We're like dominoes, dominoes, dominoes falling. Araya was the
so much of the time, I wonder who Araya is. So much of the time we are set up, and I think people growing up in today's world are set up because the world is much more open to everybody else. When I grew up, there wasn't social media or internet or anything. So you were kind of in the community and the place that you lived. Now it's all over the place. And I think young people grow up not realizing, be careful with what you put out there, because what you put out when you're 15 and all of a sudden you're looking for a job when you're 25 can really be rough. And I think he's describing sometimes we're set up, beauty's on the shelves instead of inside of ourselves. We have to learn to love ourselves more. And we can't, what other people think about you is not your business. It's important to have enough inner strength that other people are going to say and do things. No matter what they do, we can't let that beat us down, even though many times it can. So we have to have internal strength and good people around us that can build us back up. I want to hear about Araya.
Dominoes falling. Araya was the most beautiful girl in this world. She shined like diamonds and rubies and pearls. But then, as soon as she turned 13, she forgot just how bright that it was that she gleamed. Stuck in the material world of magazines that glamorise fake and Photoshop beauty queens. Top 10 beauty tips making her feel inadequate. For the first time in her life, she felt ugly. So Araya stopped eating to lose weight. She spent her dinner money on some makeup for her face. But no matter how much she lost or how much she bought, she was never good enough.
This is really good song, like the rhythm of the beginning, and now all of a sudden the rap stuff comes in from him. And boy, does it touch on young women, which I'm a huge proponent of being very careful because we treat them very poorly in the world in terms of their self-image. And a young girl grows up, young children grow up, and they love people and they love life. And all of a sudden, a teenage girl grows up and she realizes there's a comparison to other people. I have to look a certain way, be a certain way, do certain things. And so she no longer loves herself. Why? Not because of her, it's because of everything else. And the grade we give ourselves is from the rest of the world, and we have to turn that off. This is pretty good. Magazines, social media can all dictate whether we're okay by whether we look like them.
But no matter how much she lost or how much she bought, she was never good enough. Or so she thought. Araya felt she could never be loved. She started cutting her wrists and hiding her scars with gloves. At 16, an anorexic beauty queen, she collapses in a puddle of her tears and blood, cause she never felt enough. She never felt enough. Your sellers told this lie that we must buy to keep in touch. We can never buy enough. Never buy enough. All the riches in the world can't buy a sense of self-love. Funny how you act surprised when depression's levels rise, when you force feed inadequacy straight into our eyes. Television shows that praise the beautiful people, and talent competitions that just laugh at the feeble. Billboards, magazines, people turn to plasticine, molded like a factory. We're growing up to fear feeling ugly. It's lunacy, and not even a community.
There's so much I could just let that entire thing go. It's like a lecture series on what we have to watch out for. She's a beauty queen. In other words, she's gorgeous, probably a model, yet cutting herself and feeling like she's a zero and feeling like she's as ugly as can be, even though she's a model, even though she's amazing looking on the outside. On the inside, everything's falling apart. And we feed that system so much today. What was the lunacy thing?
That just laugh at the feeble. Billboards, magazines, people turn to plasticine, molded like a factory. We're growing up to
fear feeling ugly. We have this fear of being not good enough or of not looking the right way. And it's a fear instead of a desire to look a certain way. We have a fear of, I don't want to look that way. And it is lunacy. It's nuts. He does put the facts out.
Billboards, magazines, people turn to plasticine, molded like a factory. We're growing up to fear feeling ugly. It's lunacy, and not even a community. Cause insecurity breeds judgment, judgment breeds hate, no unity. And hierarchy based upon aesthetics is what makes a kid in school get bullied for genetics. And I felt so ugly growing up. The way that I look sometimes got me beaten up. I mean, what the fuck sort of culture do we live in when we're defined by the shape of our face, when we're ashamed by the size of our waist, when we're imprisoned by the form that we take? And so we keep buying and spending. That's just how this story goes. You build us up just to knock us back down, and we just keep falling like dominoes.
Wow, that was something. Ren, Dominoes, Megs, thank you so much for another really good Ren song on a really good topic. It's interesting how he did the society and the way that people can treat other people, but then he also tied it to money and spending, which to me, those are two different topics. I don't know if I would compare those two. They're really two valuable topics, but I don't know if they line up exactly. Because whether you have money or not, or spending or not, you can still have all those other issues. I don't know what the comparison of money and spending is to just looking a certain way, because the most broke of anybody could still have those same issues. I deal with this every single day in my office. And if anybody's still listening at this point, my main message to the world is the family system is broken. And this all starts with the family. We have to have moms and dads who raise children to be good, kind, caring, compassionate, less judgmental, and less harsh on people. Because if we do that, number one, we'll be more secure ourselves so that the impact of what other people say won't matter so much. But number two, other people, if you raise your children this way, they won't be mean to other people. The bullying will stop. It will stop. But it takes the family unit to say enough is enough. It's like we will do with our boys. It's not okay to walk into school and treat anybody like they feel less than, and they don't do that. And when every family does that, we don't have an issue with bullying ever again. We've got to stomp this out, and that's the only way it's going to happen. So remember that about the family. It's not real therapy. It's just Tom breaking down lyrics. If you want help, check the links. Get some water to clear your throat. Water. It does a body good. Leave me your comments. Oh my gosh, I got choked up over that. And please remember that mental health matters. We'll see you on the next Reaction Therapy.